This is CNET, and here are the stories that matter right now. Google announced a new initiative to pay publishers $1 billion over the next 3 years for news content. The payments will be compensation for news content that will appear on the new app, Google News Showcase. In a blog post, Google said the app will feature editorial curation of award-winning newsrooms to give readers more insight. Microsoft introduced a new budget laptop called the Surface Laptop Go. It starts at $549, features a 12.4-inch touchscreen, and a pretty sharp design. Microsoft also announced an update to its ARM-based Surface Pro X. The Windows tablet has a new processor option and the promise of longer battery life for all models of the Surface Pro X. The U.S. Senate Commerce Committee voted to issue subpoenas to Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg, Twitter's Jack Dorsey, and Google's Sundar Pichai. Congress is considering changes to liability protections granted by the Communications Decency Act. The three tech CEOs would appear before the committee as witnesses, but the date of the hearing has not been determined. Stay up to date with the latest by visiting cnet.com.
Instead of wasting money troubleshooting devices, IT is able to help the team transform the business. When your IT is at their best, so are your
people. This is CNET, and here are the stories that matter right now. Google just unveiled a new Pixel 5 and Pixel 4a, both supporting 5G. The tech giant also debuted a new Chromecast and Google TV, as well as a Nest-branded smart speaker called Nest Audio. Starting at $700, the Pixel 5 represents a chance for the company to revisit some of the missteps critics lamented with the Pixel 4. For a list of the new phone's features, head over to CNET. Facebook Messenger users will be able to chat with people who are on Instagram without having to download a new app, and vice versa, a move that links both services more closely together. Instagram and Facebook Messenger will still remain as standalone apps, and the users' inboxes will stay separate, the company said. The new messaging option could change the way people keep in touch with their family and friends through social media, some of whom may be using Facebook, but not Instagram. And finally, the Seattle City Council unanimously approved a minimum pay standard for Uber and Lyft drivers on Tuesday, the second city in the U.S. to do so. Under the new regulation going into effect in January, the ride-hailing services will be required to pay their drivers at least $16.39 an hour. The law, passed in a 9-0 vote, is modeled after one passed by New York in August 2018 that caps how many ride-hailing cars from services like Uber and Lyft can be on the street. You can stay up to date with the latest by visiting CNET.
The friendship element of Snapchat is very important for us.
The most powerful form of marketing is word of mouth, and Snapchat just lends itself so perfectly and authentically to word of mouth.
I couldn't think of better partners than the Snapchat generation in helping us move that forward and make the world a much more joyful place.
This is CNET, and here are the stories that matter right now. Starting Tuesday, Amazon will let people use its latest biometric tech, dubbed Amazon One, to enter 2 Amazon Go locations in Seattle. People can sign up for an Amazon One at one of the company's Amazon Go stores. Amazon said the process, which involves hovering your hand over an Amazon One device, takes less than a minute, and it will associate a person's credit card with their palm signature. TikTok said Tuesday it's rolling out a guide within the short-form video app that will show users trustworthy information about the upcoming U.S. elections. Other social networks, including Facebook and Twitter, also created online hubs for election content to direct people to authoritative sources. And finally, Apple and Epic met in a virtual court hearing on Monday to debate whether Fortnite should be allowed to remain in Apple's App Store, while the two fight an even bigger battle over whether Apple is violating federal antitrust law. Judge Rogers of California didn't issue an update to a previous ruling, which upheld Apple's ban on Fortnite while the antitrust case is ongoing. Rogers said it's likely the case, which she has described as the frontier of antitrust law, will be heard in July 2021. She recommended a trial by jury in order that the final judgment reached would be more likely to stand up to appeal, but she said it's up to Apple or Epic to request this. You can stay up to date with the latest by visiting CNET. This is CNET, and here are the stories that matter right now. We have an Xbox Series X in-house, and have been testing out some of the new features for close to a week. While our preview period has only just begun, some of the standout features of the Series X are quick resume and massive improvements in loading times. More specifically, quick resume allows players to juggle between 4 and 6 games and switch back and forth within seconds. Google on Monday said it's clarifying its policies for app makers on its Play Store marketplace, telling developers they have up to a year to get in compliance with its policies for in-app purchases. The system, which allows Google to take a 30% cut of in-app purchases, has been criticized sharply by developers who argue it's too high a tax for using Google's mobile platform. Apple, which takes the same cut from developers who use its App Store for iPhones, has also faced intense scrutiny. Some companies, like Spotify and Netflix, have skirted the policy by encouraging people to use the company's own billing systems. And finally, when it comes to specifics on how the Chinese government could get its hands on data through TikTok, the Justice Department is keeping the information classified. In court filings from the Justice Department on September 25th, the agency on multiple occasions redacted specific information on how the Chinese government obtained your data. Stay up to date with the latest by visiting CNET.
At some banks, to open an account, it feels like step after step. Not at Capital One. You can open a checking account in just 5 minutes. That's right, 5 minutes. This is Banking Reimagined. What's in your wallet?
This is CNET, and here are the stories that matter right now. Judge Carl Nichols has granted TikTok's request for a preliminary injunction, delaying a planned ban on new downloads of the app that was supposed to take place starting Sunday at 11:59 Eastern Time. Lawyers for TikTok had argued that removing the app in the lead-up to an election, in the midst of a pandemic, would infringe on the rights of US citizens to broadcast their views. Despite the Department of Justice filing to block this injunction, the judge ultimately ruled in TikTok's favor. US wariness of Chinese tech firms was underlined again on Friday when the Commerce Department sent a letter to companies in the States reportedly telling them they must get a license before exporting certain goods to Semiconductor Manufacturing International Corporation, China's largest chip maker, out of concerns about military use of technology. A spokesperson from the Commerce Department's Bureau of Industry and Security said they're constantly monitoring and assessing any potential threats to US national security and foreign policy interests. And finally, DC Comics' Black Adam film has just found its Hawkman. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who will play the anti-hero Black Adam, revealed on Friday that Leverage actor Aldous Hodge is going to play Hawkman in the upcoming movie. In his Instagram post announcing the news, Johnson revealed that Hodge had first thought the call was a prank, and said, "Hawkman is a critical leading role for our movie, as he is the fiery leader of the Justice Society of America and one of the most beloved and legendary characters in the DC universe." Stay up to date with the latest by visiting CNET.
I chose the nighttime aligners because it's so easy.
It's hard to find time to go to the dentist with a busy schedule.
I'm a mom.
And I have a full-time job, of course.
Phone calls, meetings, walking my dog.
Yeah, I'm pretty busy.
So I had no idea that you could straighten your teeth while you sleep.
Who doesn't have time to wear something while they're sleeping?
Before you go to bed, pop them in.
For 10 hours a day at night.
That's insane.
Hello.
I mean, look at them already.